Okay, so first I'm going to do a muscle test. Can I have you put your fingers together like this for me? Great. I'm going to try to take it apart and don't let me, okay? Okay, so it's a grade 4 or less. So we're going to start with Charette protocol. The other indicator is that there's a dimple right here, indicating that the lunate is subluxated. Okay, and so I'm going to do the scaphoid first. Okay, and it's going to be, the line of drive is going to be anterior lateral. And the triquetrum is going to be anterior medial. Lunate is going to just be posterior. And the distal, radial, and ulnar, radius, ulnar. And squeeze 4 times. Okay, the metacarpal joint of the thumb. It's going to be medial. It's medial scoop. It's the proximal row of carpals. And I'm going to be pushing A to P with my fingers, and the lateral and medial with each of my theanars. And I'm going to do the distal row. It's going to be the hamate. It's going to be the lateral aspect of the hamate, capitate, and the trapezium. And the trapezoid, not the trapezium. Okay, I'm going to have you put your fingers together again. We're going to muscle test. Okay, try resist. Okay, it's a grade 5. Alright, so we're going to do Charette protocol for the elbow. So we've already checked the radius. We're going to pronation and supination. And I feel sponginess when I supinate. So I'm going to activate the mobile wire 3. Set up on the radial head and bring his head into full supination. And the line of drive is going to be P to A, lateral and medial. And I feel an abrupt stop in both directions. Okay, next I'm going to check the ulnar.
Oh, ow.
There's a little bit of pain there that indicates that there's a subluxation. So I'm going to activate the wrist flexors. I'm going to set up on the electrical process. And the drive is just going to be a P to A. Bringing the arm, make sure the arm is in full extension. And I won't check the medial epicondyle again because the pain was chemically mediated and it hasn't disappeared yet. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and be assessing your spine, make sure it's clear. So I'm going to test the triceps. Go ahead and resist when I push down. Resist. Okay, that's a grade 5. So we can go ahead and continue. I'm going to go ahead and test your ulnar. Ulnar. Okay. Resist. Oh, that's a grade 4 or lower for sure. So the most common subluxation is a posterior medial subluxation. So I'm going to take my contact, fully extend the elbow. And it's going to be an anterior lateral line of drive. I'm going to test it again. Okay, resist. Okay, it's still grade 4 or less. So that means it must have subluxated posterior lateral. So I'm going to thrust an anterior medial direction. Make sure the elbow is full extension. Go ahead and resist. Alright, and that's a grade 5 strong. Okay, so I've already cleared out the triceps. I'm going to do the alternative adjustment for the radius now. Okay, go ahead and extend that wrist. Okay, go ahead and resist. Okay, that's a grade 4 or less, so we're going to move to the brachioradialis test. I'm going to pull up. Go ahead and don't let me, okay? Resist. Okay, and it's a strong brachioradialis test, which means that the radius has been subluxated in a posterior lateral way. And so I'm going to go ahead and full pronation. Contact the radial head, and the line of drive is going to be an anterior medial, and the thumb or the finger rolls off. I'm going to recheck it, and it's a grade 5 strong. So if the brachioradialis would have been weak, it would have been an anterior medial subluxation. So I would come, and I would set up on the radius, still brings it into pronation. And it would have been a posterior lateral line of drive. I would have come back, checked, and it would have been a grade 5 strong. Alright, so we're going to do Charette's protocol for anterior humeral head. So I'm going to go ahead and test him. Okay, go ahead and don't let me push down. Okay, it's a grade 4 or less. So we're going to go ahead and adjust him. With the Charette's protocol, we're going to go in between the deltoid and the pectoid. about halfway. And I'm going to put my speeder hand is going to be putting 10 pounds of pressure, and pressure hand is going to be, pressure hand is going to be putting 15. Okay, go ahead and resist. And it's a grade 5 strong. Okay, so we're going to do the supine alternative adjustment for the anterior humerus. In order to do the muscle test, bring his hand straight up. Okay, go ahead and resist. It's a grade 4 or less. Okay, can I have you move your shoulder to the edge of the table for me? Great. Okay, it's going to be an A to P line drive. Okay. Go ahead and resist. Awesome, and that's a grade 5 strong. Okay, now we're going to go into the seated alternate adjustment for the humeral head. We'll do the same muscle test to begin with. Thank you. Okay, go ahead and resist. Okay, that's a grade 4 or less. Go ahead and seat up, face that wall for me. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, it's going to be an A to P line of drive. Okay, go ahead and lay back down. Okay, hold your hand right there. Go ahead and resist. And it's grade 5 strong. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the AC distal clavicle joint. It's been subluxated superior, so we're going to push it inferiorly. I'm going to go ahead and straddle the table. Okay, and with my little fingers, I'm going to palpate, feeling for springiness. Okay, and it's just going to be an inferior line of drive. Okay, and I do not feel as much springiness.
Alright.
Okay, I'm going to be assessing the SC joint. So I'm going to be feeling for the clavicle and the maneuver and move independently. They actually don't right now. So I'm going to adjust it in contact with my thenar eminence and look towards my right elbow. Thank you. And the line of drive is going to be medial to lateral. I'm just going to do a couple of these stretches. Okay, and I feel individual movement. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the trigger points. First, we're going to do the subscapular, or the subclavius right here, and the mid-scapular area. We'll do the teres minor and the teres major. That's really angry right there. Then the levator scapula. The lateral deltoid. The lateral deltoid, make sure that you do come out an inch. Make sure it's covering that. Okay, and the medial humerus. And the subscapularis belly. Breathe. Ready? Alright, so first we'll be doing the scapulothoracic articulation. Just going to move it, the shoulder up. Okay, next we'll do decrease in inferior glide of the humeral head. I'm going to take my thumb, it's going to come off the acromion process onto the head of the humerus, and I'm going to press from a superior to inferior angle, and I feel springiness now. Just breaking up that adhesion. Okay, next is going to be the levator scap tendon. Okay, could I have you go ahead and shrug this shoulder up for me? Great. And go ahead and relax for me. Okay, I'm going to take my thumb, and the overall action is going to be superior and lateral on the medial aspect of the scapula. Do that 4 or 5 times. Okay, Okay, so we're going to go ahead and assess the SC joint. I'm going to go ahead and bring his arm up here, internally rotate it for me. Great. I'm going to go ahead and brace his opposite shoulder. This is the pec major muscle test. I'm going to push lateral and inferior. I'm going to go ahead and push this way. When I do, go ahead and resist. Resist. Okay, that's a grade 4 or less. Go ahead and turn on, lay on this side for me. Thank you. Okay, I got your head. Go ahead and relax. Relax. Okay. I'm going to take my piezoform. An AC joint. It's going to be a mostly medial to lateral thrust. Okay, go ahead and land your back again for me. Alright. And go ahead and resist. It's a grade 5. And next we're going to do the AC joint. And we're going to test the corpobrachialis. Okay, go ahead and resist for me. And it's a grade 4 or less. Go ahead and sit up and face that window for me. We're going to use your sifts. Get on the distal clavicle. And it's going to be a superior inferior thrust. And lay down again. And resist. And it's grade 5 strong.
Yeah, me too.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and be assessing the biceps tendon. So first I'll do a muscle test for me. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to try to pull up. Resist when I say resist. Okay, relax. Okay, and that's going to be a grade 4 or less. So we're going to go ahead and adjust the biceps tendon. Go ahead and sit up and face that way for me. Okay, go ahead and cross this hand over your chest. And the thrust is going to be lateral and medial. Lay down. And I'll go ahead and test one more time. Okay, resist, relax. And it's a grade 5 strong. So next I'm going to be assessing the anterior inferior humerus. And we'll do that. We'll do the muscle test. Go ahead and keep your arm right here for me. I'm going to try to push it down. Go ahead and resist. Resist. And that's a grade 4 or less, so we're going to go ahead and adjust it. There are 2 ways to adjust this. The first way is supine. I'll brace the scapula with my hand. Go ahead and lay back down. Okay. And we'll go ahead and retest. Resist. It's grade 5 strong. The other way that you can adjust this is with seated position. Go ahead and sit up for me. Okay, go ahead and touch the shoulder with your right hand. And in this one, you're going to be bracing the scapula with your sternum. Okay, go ahead and lay down. And then we would test this again. Resist. And it's grade 5 strong. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and assess the shoulder for an anterior inferior humerus. And resist. It's a grade 4 or less. So we're going to do the teapot. So if you go ahead and stand up for me and place your hand on your hips like that. Great. Okay, so what I want you to do is I'm going to try to move your elbow forward. Don't let me. Perfect. Go ahead and lay down again. Check that. Go ahead and resist. And it's a grade 5 strong. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and assess for a posterior humerus. If you go ahead and turn your stomach. If you put this on your back. Great. Okay, so I want you to lift this up into my arm. I'm going to push down on it. Okay, resist. Okay, that's a grade 4 or less. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust and internally rotate. A little bit of distraction. Okay, same thing. Go ahead and resist. And that's a grade 5.